If you were in your 20s today, what business would you build?
Nutra. I think I started Botanic when I was 22. Knowledge is all about sharing. If I'm educating my consumer, how do you know this is a true liposomal powder? You will only know if you're doing 10. Not all clinical studies are same.
Welcome back again to the Changemakers with Madhuri. This is your host, voice of nutraceuticals industry, and the platform what we are now bringing into this industry is not about showcasing celebrities, but about showcasing the people who have been building silently the foundation of health industry. Yes, we are going to deep dive into the DNA of supplement you consume. Yes, I'm going to talk about ingredients that are made innovatively built to make a formulation that ultimately becomes a supplement brand you consume. Today, with immense pleasure, I want to welcome Mr. Gaurav,
Thank you.
Managing Director and founder of Botanic Healthcare, one of the fastest growing ingredient manufacturing company, I would say. Gaurav, 13 years of Botanic Healthcare, and 50 plus countries you have already, I think, expanded. So half century is already done. When are you planning to hit the full complete century?
Thank you, first of all, Madhuri, and good to be here. And in fact, as I was walking through, happened to meet Benefic founder. So I think you have already proven that your podcast is already bringing people together from the same industry. So thanks to you. Obviously, you've been asking me to come on this podcast for a while. But interesting question. When we're gonna hit century or number of countries we export to, or how the growth has been. I've been in nutraceuticals since 2007, and I was on other end of the table basically. So I used to formulate and make supplements, export to US in New Zealand, and I'm talking about 2007. And I used to buy ingredients from all the Indian manufacturers and Chinese manufacturers, or Europeans or Americans, take all the way to New Zealand, convert into tablet capsules or cosmetics, then export all the way to US. And since February 2009, I remember during Splice at West in October in that year, US FDA has announced changes to the regulations.
Okay.
And that is when I think the dietary supplement industry got cleaned up. And that is when US FDA has announced that every dietary supplement manufacturer in US or companies who are exporting products to US, they must ensure every ingredient is tested for ID, SA, heavy metals and micro. And that has cleaned up industry in a big way. And that is where adulteration was found out. That is when more labs came in. If you see most of the labs in US, they came after 2009. Most of the labs in the nutraceutical word itself is pretty young. That was invented during those days where the industry got ripened up and cleaned up. So my entry, and I have worked with the labs during those early stages, setting up test methods for the raw materials, identifying the adulteration, finding out what is coming from what. And then I have had situations where something would pass for assay but fail for ID. Then we are scratching our head, man, what is going on? I'm telling the lab, you're telling me this is feverfew with 0.5% or 0.8% parthenoloid. But then on the other hand, you're telling Gaurav, no, it's not passing ID. How it can be? Well, that's when I learned the term called spiking, So it's called spiking, right? And then a lot of labs came in US. And what has happened is that dry labbing started. So you send a sample to the lab, but they don't actually test it. They just report it to you based on your spec. They just don't test it. And that's when a lot of, if you go online and Google, a lot of cases were registered by US FDA against the labs for dry labbing and others in US, right? And I'm talking about 2010 to 11. So that is when I decided, okay, now enough is enough. Let me get into the raw materials and be the leaders globally to bring that innovation and genuine raw materials to the market, right? And that's when the idea came in. That's when I traveled to India, and then the whole thing started for Botanic Healthcare. So I myself had been at the other end of the stick. So I was a customer like my own customers, right? So we do know the pain, we do know the formulation. And I think it's been 13 years for the company since we have started. But with the amount of hard work which has gone in, I keep telling people, that maybe is for 13 years for the company, but with the number of hours that we put in to build this company, and if I consider 18 hours a day of working, it's more than 26 years or 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So from that angle, and I think now from the numbers perspective, or from the company growth, or the people, or the outreach, for example, or number of companies overseas we have, or number of people we have working globally for us, that may be 13 years on a paper, but it's equivalent to more than double years if we consider the amount of efforts and the systems that we have. I mean, I tell people, we've been busy building Boeing 737, and it's built from last couple of years, and now the leap that we are taking and hockey stick growth you're going to see, I think people will be baffled with the amount of growth that we're going to deliver in this year or next year, because we have a full set of teams. So good question in terms of when you're going to hit the century. I think we are already covering a large global players and global markets. Now our whole focus is all about innovation, quality, sustainability. A lot of big companies, whether it's a PepsiCo, whether it's a Nestle, whether it's Danone, whether it's Herbalife, whether it's Now Food, all those investor-led companies, they only want to do business with you if you're all about sustainability.
Right.
So you have to have sustainable sourcing, sustainable manufacturing, sustainable practices on how you do business, because the people who want to do business with you, all the listed companies, they want to make sure their stakeholders, their partners, they are sustainable enough to ensure their business is sustainable themselves.
Right.
And I still remember a company, 2017, I went there, B2B meeting, and I was meeting the CEO, and he said, Gaurav, look, welcome here, have a coffee, but do not sell me anything. Tell me what you're doing towards sustainability in your company. I want to do business with you if you can convince me that you are a sustainable manufacturer, sustainable sourcing, and you're doing this whole equation and closing the sustainability loop, because I'm not interested. 17. Imagine that. So 9 years back, and I got stumbled. He said to me straight away, do not offer me any pricing. I'm not here to buy anything from you. I'm only here to attend you, and I want to know how sustainable your business is. Because if your business is not sustainable, I'm not keen to do business with you. And that really baffled me. And I came back to India and I said to my team, guys, we need to work on sustainability, because a lot of big guys, otherwise they do not business with us. Right. And that's when we started working on sustainability. So I would say, I mean, coming back to your question, there is no limit to growth. I think we are one of the fastest B2B ingredients company, but I can assure you that it's going to be massive. The kind of things that we're working on globally, the kind of people that we brought into our team, the kind of investors that we have, or globally the traction that we have, is going to become like a big. And innovation is something that I love innovation myself, being a chemist. So much more coming out. You just wait and see.
Yeah. So I was going through your profile, and I could see you started very early in your time.
So I saw
3 words: entrepreneur, investor, and then philanthropist.
I had my first company in New Zealand when I was 19.
Wow.
So I was just waiting to turn 18, so I don't have to get my parents' signature. So I went to New Zealand when I was 17 with my parents' signature. They need to sign it. At 19, I started my first company. I mean, I own multiple companies globally into different industries. I'm into hospital, real estate, land developments, IT, manufacturing, obviously, consulting, a lot of industries. So I was, I think, lucky enough to be around those old people. I mean, my friends in New Zealand are 60-year-old gentlemen who were PwC founders and the lawyers and accountants. So that network of exposure, maybe exposure that has been there. So I started pretty early in my life, and I think I started Botanic when I was 22. Really? So I started Botanic when I was 22. So imagine that.
Can you imagine now in this era, people are building like companies into their 20s, and we are like, wow, young entrepreneur.
There you go. So I was 22 when I started Botanic. So quite early.
What quality of you like that got fit into the as an entrepreneur, as an investor? I mean, I'm not able to connect. What is that one quality you have which kept you going in?
I think as an entrepreneur, the passion is something. A lot of people ask me this question, Gaurav, how do you manage this, that? How can you shift? One guy, I was at the airport, and I think he was a Mars CEO, the chocolate guys, right? The M&M guys. And then he said, well, how are you able to shift windows in your brain? And I tell a lot of people it's a passion. See, if you are passionate about something, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're a CEO, whether you're a business owner or anything, if you're passionate about something, trust me, you don't get tired. You're full of energy all the time. And I think passion is something that really brings things out from you, whether you're an employee, whether you're a worker, whether you're an entrepreneur. And that's the main quality that people should have. Whatever you do, do it with a passion.
Right.
And obviously, other qualities you need as an entrepreneur. Quick decision making is very, very important. You know, you need to take risks. That is it, and you should not be afraid of taking risks because you have built it, so you can build it again, right?
Right.
And taking people along, that's very, very important. So if you can build a good ecosystem of people around you,
True.
that works for you. If that is not there, then you cannot run all these things, and your journey will be small in entrepreneurship. And that's something that I have learned from Ratan Tata, and I have heard him saying, and someone asked him the same question, like, how do you run such a big group? He said, I don't run it. It's an ecosystem of people around me who runs it.
Right.
And that's when I started thinking how to build businesses and how to leave it to the people to run it.
Right, right. So I think when you started Botanic, you found a gap, you found the problems, and you had the passion to fill these gaps. I think that's what built it.
Yes.
And that's how you kind of build the category into it.
Yes.
And then when you talk about the people around you, your vision should be communicated to the team.
Very,
Then
very
only-
important. 100% important, I think. And that is a major challenge, I think, in Indian space. And
Yeah.
when I look at the businesses around US or New Zealand and Australia, entrepreneurs and business owners are really get involved. They plant a tree and then leave it to the gardeners to run it. And they make sure that there are people to pluck the fruits also, right?
True.
And I think in India, that's a challenge where maybe people feel that because of integrity issues and other issues, they should not tell more things to the staff.
Yeah, hesitate.
There is a hesitation in others. But I personally believe if you have the right professionals and if you look after those professionals, doesn't matter whether your things are known to others and basically the company's DNA cannot be changed. So whatever we are doing at Botanic, even if people already know what we're doing because we have a website, we are marketing it, right? We have a LinkedIn, we're doing podcasts and things like that. But I tell people that DNA cannot be stolen.
True.
Right? So whatever, let's say Nestle is doing, Nestle is Nestle, PepsiCo cannot be Nestle. But PepsiCo is PepsiCo, PepsiCo cannot be Nestle,
Yes.
right?
They cannot
So
be second.
every human being or every company, every household, they have their own DNA. That
True.
cannot be changed or stolen by anybody.
True.
So I personally believe the entrepreneurs, they should leave it to the right people that they hire, trust them, build them professionally and personally, and they will be with you forever. And there should be no risks involved if you do the right way and if you treat people as your stakeholders.
Right. I think the information or the message you're giving, strange to know that even today's young generation would clearly communicate and understand the message you're trying to give. The thought you have brought up so far and built this company, it's amazing. You're very clear, you're very passionate. You know how to build the business. With the clarity you're going, I think that's the secret of your speed. Now let's move to our industry and the products. You know that now slowly food is becoming medicine. Pharmaceutical is shifting interest into nutraceutical. I see a lot of pharma and nutra collaboration happening. And Ayurveda or the botanical extracts becoming a new trend for Gen Zs or the new generation. How do you see this shift? What do you think? What has changed the trend?
See, I mean, as we are going to be a developed nation by 2047, and I think this overall change, see, a lot of dots are connected. It's not just one thing. A lot of people say after COVID, things like that. It's not just COVID, guys, right? Amount of transformation which has happened in India in last 10 years. I do know it because I'm an NRI myself. I spent my 20 years, I mean, this is 20th year now, in New Zealand, living, bringing up, doing qualifications, education. My kids are all New Zealand citizens and others. Having been in New Zealand, when a person, an Indian migrant, goes overseas, then we see India at a global scale.
Yeah.
Right? But being in India, we only see India and we may not see India at a global scale, right? So, having this transformation in terms of pharma moving to Nutra, it is all linked together. It's not just COVID driven. It's linked together with the people buying capacity. Is linked together with the transformation which has happened in the digital India. That's a huge incentive that the government has been pushing, digital India, digital India, digital India. Now, and I'll tell you the examples also. So I think the whole transformation in terms of India being moving in a direction where we are going to be a developed country by 2047. That's the government notion, I think. That all is linked together because earlier, if you think about it, there were not much opportunities and not much money with the people to be spent on such supplements. So it's all linked to the buying power also. So yes, people can say that after COVID, there's more awareness on wellness, which truly there is. And a lot of trend is being driven after COVID into immunity and things like that. So that really opened up people's eyes. But if people don't have money to spend on Nutra, how they're going to follow the trend?
True.
If people do not have internet and smartphones, how are they going to buy online products? True. So it's not just COVID or health trend. Everything comes with $1 in your pocket. So if people have money and the buying power of a general population goes up, then they think about spending on holidays and Nutra. Nutra is by choice. It is still not there where people have budgeted Nutra into their family budgets. US is more ahead because per capita income is more. It's $1 trillion economy. So people have visited their nutraceuticals, their supplements intake into their monthly expense plan. Like usually the mother and father will have supplements for kids, everything will be in the kitchen shelves, right? Like myself, I mean, I used to have a bar, but I made it a yoga bar. So I have all the supplements over there that we take and my kids take it. They don't take gummies, they take vitamin gummies and things like that. So I think it's an overall shift in India where the buying power has gone up with the consumer and consumer is looking at spending money for their health because they do have money to spend. And how they spend money, they go online, they buy things, right?
Right.
So if you see all these brands, whether it's a Swiggy, Zomato, Blinkit, Mamaearth, this, that, everything, that really transformed after digital India.
True.
That's this phone pay, digital pay, this thing, that thing, Google Pay, all that is being a factor and that is driving the transformation. So people are not just spending on Nutra, people are spending, their buying behavior changed. People are spending in drinks, for example, right? Very less people are moving towards other drinks, but then that power is there, the spending power is there, right? So whole thing has shifted and that is where when the nutraceutical shift is happening and then pharma companies are feeling the heat. And if you think about it, if you compare India 30 years back and India now, 65% of the population is close to 45. This is a mid-age people, right? And we people, and I think last 10 to 15 years, that the talent which is coming out, like you and me, we are educated people. So the good thing about now, and I think good thing about the industry, and I really liked it, and it's good for us also. Now the consumer in India, already Indians were intelligent, right? True. If you see NASA, you see US, and I mean, you see US, whole IT industry is India. I mean, sometimes US government may fear themselves that one day all the Indians will hijack our systems. But Indians are the only people who are in top positions, right? You see NASA, you see IT, you see medical doctors in US and others. So Indians has always been smart. But the challenge that now Indian D2C brands are having, that the consumer is very aware because everybody, mostly people who are taking supplements, they have a bachelor degree, master degree, right?
Right.
So they are educated people who know which is wrong and what product is right? Which may not be the case in New Zealand, Australia, or US or Europe because people still in those countries are not highly qualified. If you, of course, they speak English, but that doesn't mean that they're educated. I mean, if I talk about Australia, New Zealand, many people don't have bachelors. They just learn on the job. So many people don't have bachelors. I'm telling you, they just learn on the job. and or they do a diploma on the job, business diploma kar liya, ye kar liya, English ka kar liya, ye kar liya. They don't have a formal qualifications, right? So for them to understand science and integrate before they buy a supplement, they just go by the trust or reviews and others, right?
Yeah.
But in India, consumer is looking at science, right? Consumer is looking at the data. Consumer is looking at validation, right? The good thing now is, an industry in India is also getting cleaned up in Nutra, because people want true label claims.
True.
I mean, I was other day looking into online, and there was a big rift and debate around buffered and unbuffered magnesium bisglycinate, right? And in fact, I mean, there was a one brand which has been selling magnesium bisglycinate, 20% elemental magnesium. So people were saying how the hell they can do it is not possible. Magnesium bisglycinate only 14% is there. So liposomal can be only 10% or 12%. How they're claiming 20% and things. So there was that's a level of consumer in India.
That is consumer debate.
There you go. How
Right.
consumer and all the influencers and
Wow.
others are targeting. So I think one good thing is, as the industry is growing in India, and this is one of the biggest economy for the whole world. And look at Herbalife, they're doing $1 billion just in India. They're not doing $1 billion in other markets. Just in India, they're doing 1 billion.
Wow.
And the rest of the markets, they may be doing consolidated 3 to 4 billion. But in single country, 1 billion never possible, right? Only in India, because we have 1.4 billion people, for example, right?
I think companies like Herbalife have been building the categories, and they have been waiting for the consumers to get ready.
That is happening now.
And right now,
so the consumer is ready now, where consumer can afford 4,000 rupees or a tub to have the protein shakes and shake mates and Formula 1 and Formula 2, right? So this is a whole consolidation, but I personally believe that the industry in India is getting cleaned up. Brands are on their toes now. They're asking raw material manufacturers, hey, I want this quality, I want this validation. So more cleanup happening, and it's good for the industry overall.
They're asking for the tests.
Asking for test results, asking for lab
results.
report, asking for the validation, for example, because their consumer is asking, because they are online D2C brands. And social media is something people need to be really, really honest about. Otherwise, people can really start a trend, and then you know how social media works. One good thing can be viral, but one negative thing can also be viral.
I don't think so. They must be watching it, but they would definitely go and validate, then only they buy.
Yes, yeah. So Indian consumer is like that. Hard to make a fool of people in India.
Yeah.
Who are spending money into supplements.
True. I think there's a lot of information available right now.
Yes.
Then
ChatGPT, this. Now you can give a command to ChatGPT, hey, can you compare these brands for me? Who is better?
Yeah.
So whatever content is in their social media, ChatGPT will do a full analysis and give you sort of a context that, hey, this is bad, this is good, right?
Yeah. So first consumer got aware.
Yes.
Now they're informed.
And there's a tech there now, you know.
This is the tough type for the brands to build something that will stay here for longer time.
Only true to the label claims.
True.
Only way for the brands to sustain, invest money into the raw materials, get a good quality, validate them, then get the product out. If your product is not validated and not good, it's not going to work. I
think here, ingredient manufacturers are playing now important role now.
Huge responsibility.
Because now they're getting into the ingredients.
So right? I tell people that as an ingredient manufacturer, I think we hold a huge responsibility. Yes. Sometimes the D2C brand owners, I have seen a lot of influencers are starting companies.
Yeah.
So marketing product is another talent. Manufacturing product is another talent, right? So I personally believe it's a triangle of a contract manufacturer.
Yes.
Ingredient manufacturer.
Yes.
And the formulator.
Yes.
And the marketing company.
Yes.
So CMO plays a role in terms of formulation and staying true to the BMR or BPR that they have and batch manufacturing record they have. Along with that, the marketing companies hold a lot of responsibility to make sure they are true to their label claims. But whether they're true to the label claims, they have enough competition and enough people in the D2C market to make sure their socks are pulled up all the time. We as a raw material manufacturer, ingredient manufacturer, hold a lot of responsibility because we are the inventor. True. If you want to get a product in the market and if you want to get an innovation in the market, that has to start from a good quality, innovative, clinically backed, human clinical trials done ingredient, so you can make some big claims about it on the on your website.
Right.
So we play a lot of important role ourselves as a company, where we do feel the responsibility that, hey, look, we are responsible for more innovation to ensure people bring in more fancier, good quality label claims and the formulations.
So sometimes whenever people ask me, what do you do? it is not easy to explain them because we are at the like foundation. We're like a foundation to one capsule or the supplement they are taking in. We are the core. We are the
Yes.
core industry of that, and that slowly they are getting to know. First, they came to know about the products, the benefits and all. Then they search and they got informed about the brands. But now they want to dig into and get to know more about the ingredients. I think this is the right time for the ingredient companies to hold that, get into the market where they are speaking. I think that's the reason we started Changemakers, where my vision was not only brands or the companies who are selling they should talk, or they should be, or influencers should not be the one who should be taking the spotlights. Rather, the people who have been innovating it from the decades, they should be the spotlight.
Yes.
This is the main reason we started Changemakers. I'll give you one example, Gaurav. When I saw the profile of Mesa Business School, a lot of young entrepreneurs building the startups in the food, functional beverages industry. But once I asked them about the ingredients
Mm.
or the work, and I think I was in IFF. Even there, I saw some young startup founders who have been launching this functional beverages, energy drinks, and all fruit based and all. When I'm asking from where you procure and all, so ma'am, no idea. So they are good at knowing, understanding the market. They're
Mm.
great at building the business models. They're great at understanding the consumers as well. But somewhere science couldn't reach them. I think they will be able to create the hype and build something, but what stays for long is science
Mm.
backed
Mm. Mm.
ingredients when
Mm.
your product is backed by science. So that's why ingredient manufacturers are playing important role. So tell us, Gaurav,